Hi, everyone. This is our weekly live stream. We are not missing a week. We're still thinking about if I should leave at least 1 week during the holidays, like Christmas or Thanksgiving, but we will see. For now, we've been going very strong. We are always here with you every Wednesday, 1 p.m. EST on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and it's not Twitter, it's X, but anyways, and Instagram. Please follow us everywhere. We're Smarty Marketing. Just search for us, search for my name and Smarty. You will see a lot of social media profiles coming up in the knowledge panel. So please follow me so that you don't miss any of these live broadcasts. They are free. They keep you up to date with everything that's going on in SEO, AI search, digital marketing, content marketing, link building. We cover a range of topics. While we're waiting for people to get together, April, I sent you a screenshot of something that I came across today over at LinkedIn. I think this is a great reminder that we need to talk more about. So, first of all, Google is still a domination search. It's 90 something percent of search market globally. People do use Google to search anything. When we talk about April, it's in our live stream messenger email of our company's workspace.
Hold on, I'm grabbing it.
Yep. Please get together. We are like 1 minute live. We're still looking for more people to join us. Please let us know where you're coming from and leave any comments. So this is the screenshot from Michael, which I thought was a great reminder because we keep talking about SEO dying, search industry changing. Everything is so different, revolutionary. Everything is changing. I'm as a veteran of search, I don't see such a huge revolution yet. Yes, there is AI coming out. It's been a year. It hasn't done as much as we thought, but it's here. People are using it to find answers to their questions. So far, that's it. Yes, Google was confirmed by the court to be a dominant, to be a monopoly of search, and we expected that to change something. Nothing essentially has changed. It's been a year, guys. It's been a year, and if something is going to change, it's going to be a very, very slow process. When you are talking about, hey, I have to change something in my SEO process. No, if you've been doing it right in the first place, and that's what we were talking about last week, you don't have to change much. You've had all your long-term goals. You've been wanting to become a brand. If you've been serving your users more than you've been serving search engines, you are okay. You don't have to change anything because Google is still using the same fundamentals. ChatGPT and other generative AI platforms are still using the same fundamentals. They need to crawl your site, they need to know you as a brand, they need to know what you're doing and why you're better than others. That's what SEO is doing. So nothing is really changing. Another very interesting statistics is that people search for answers, like they ask prompts to find the answers at ChatGPT, Claudia, Gemini, or whatnot, and then they go to Google to research those concepts more and better and find out more about something that they found. So maybe searching behaviors are changing. Maybe people are getting used to getting quick answers, which again is nothing new. Featured snippets were the first thing we had to deal with when people just searched and found the answers right away. And whether they wanted to research more or not, it's not clear because some of them just wanted quick answers. Some of them were just happy with what they saw and they left search results without ever clicking anything. But maybe you don't need people who are only searching for quick answers. Maybe traffic is going down because you do not see those people who are there just to find a quick answer to that quick question, and that's all they needed. Maybe those people are not something you need on your site because they're not going to convert. If You give them the quick answer. If you reference from Featured Snippet or ChatGPT or Gemini, that's a brand exposure. That's not zero exposure. It's no click, but at least they see your brand again and again, giving quick answers. The next time they will convert, and then they are ready to convert. So with that being said, yes, traffic is going down. No, SEO is not really changing. At least if you are doing it right. If you are trying to get shortcuts, if you are trying to pay for links, if you are trying to do keyword optimization that is not natural and you were successful with that, if you were generating content automatically, maybe you're still doing that with AI or something like that. Yes, something has to change, but it's not like the fundamentals of SEO are changing. Long-term goals are changing. All of that is still the same. With that being said, and now we have quite a few listeners that tuned into our channels. Please send your questions, comments, feedback on where you're listening us from. Invite your friends. We are here just to keep everyone on the same page with everything that's going on SEO. Those are free live streams that we are using to interact with the industry, to learn more about what everyone is struggling with and how we can help. And we are helping right away here on live streams if you ask a question. Quick introduction. I'm Ansmari. I've been in SEO for 20 years now. I came from Ukraine 12 years ago to the United States to be an SEO here, to see you at conferences and be here as part of the community. Now I have my own agency. I'm the co-founder. We founded it a year ago in October 2023, which was a terrible time to found an agency because everyone is still struggling in SEO, figuring out what's going to be with the industry, and the economy was not the best, and there are many factors that were not great for founding a company, but we made it for a year. We remained profitable. We have a great team. We do these broadcasts to talk to you as well. So please post your comments and follow us on social media. With me here today and always is April. She's our director of social, designer, outreach manager, co-host of this podcast. So always helpful, always so many hats. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks for coming, everyone.
Today we're talking about a very, very important question in SEO, which doesn't have a good answer. There is a common sense answer to that. But many businesses, and sometimes me included, sometimes it's very questionable what should be less optimized. So today we're talking about over-optimization. It has been the term that has never been really confirmed by Google. We know since Panda that Google knows when they try to manipulate search rankings algorithms by targeting keywords too much, by creating some keyword density concept, which still sometimes work. Just so you know, sometimes keyword density, if you dilute it on the page, it starts ranking not as well as it used to, which I saw with my own eyes. I'm not the fan of keyword density concept, but I know that diluting that keyword optimization sometimes makes it worse for ranking. So it's not as black and white topic that I would love it to be. There are still a lot of gray areas there, but we've been talking about over optimization for many years, and I want to be very transparent here that I don't have all the answers here. Sometimes I look at the page and it's very difficult to tell if there is any over optimization problem here. Again, Google has never confirmed this as the penalty. Panda was the algorithmic update that was targeting keyword optimized sites that did not have enough external signals to support all that multiple millions of pages that they had for every keyword you can imagine. But we knew that from that point on, Google knows when there is a very sneaky SEO behind a site. At least they are trying to use it as signal. After that, there was helpful content update, and Danny Sullivan would always talk on Twitter saying, "Hey, helpful content. We don't have any answers for helpful content, just like no one does. Google doesn't have those answers as well. But their suggestion was always, do not target, do not prioritize search engines. Think about your users. Think about what they might find helpful on your site, on your page, without thinking too much about keywords." And that was translated in our SEO industries. We always find for conspiracy theories, look for conspiracy theories. That was translated to our industry as, hey, we can detect when you are too much about SEO and not enough about your users. If there is any signal that Google, a particular signal that Google is using, is not clear, I don't think so. I don't think that if they know that if a brand has an SEO team or an SEO agency they're working with, that's a red flag. I don't think that's the case, really, because it's so common these days. Every brand has some kind of SEO work being done for them. So I don't think they have that direct signals. Hey, there are always rumors, like if there are SEO tags added to the sites, like keyword tags, that's a red flag. That's how Google knows there is an SEO agency behind and that site. I really don't believe it. I think that's not as direct as some people want to believe in. Sometimes it's mostly about signals that they get from click through, from on page engagement. When the page starts getting clicks and it doesn't serve search intent that well, that's a signal to Google that something is going wrong and they are probably prioritizing SEO over people. Let me explain that. 2 weeks ago, or maybe that was last week, I really lost in time at this point, but I co-hosted a webinar where we were doing site reviews live. People submitted their site for the review and we would review it live, just like this in this live stream. That webinar is over at ClearScope. Also check my newsletter and smarty.com or LinkedIn /IN/and Smarty. Scroll down, there will be Smarty Digest. This is where I talk about weekly topics that we are going to discuss, give some references, links that happened during the week, and there I reference the webinar I co-hosted last week with ClearScope, reviewing different sites. And that's the example that we had on that live review session. So now I'm talking about it today just to give you an illustration of what an over optimization can look like. So let's say someone is searching for best virtual banks. What does that query tells us? First, and that's something I don't know, but people who are searching for that really know what virtual banking is. Because if they didn't know that, they would not probably looking for the best options. They would first research what it is and how it works, which is where I would have started because I have no idea. So that's when they're searching for best options in virtual banking, we assume that most of those people already know about virtual banking. What the page that is over optimized is going to look like. It's going to include everything and anything about virtual banking you can imagine. What is virtual banking? How it works? How it's better than traditional banking? Pros and cons of virtual banking. All of these questions maybe are useful for someone who is researching all kinds of what is virtual banking and how it works. But if the person is already above that and they already know what it is, all they need is the best banks or the best options in that category. They don't need to know all of those answers that you give before giving the actual answer. This is over optimization, and I know where it's coming from. All that clustering, all that tools that give you more and more suggestions about keyword. It's very tempting to create one single page answering all those questions. Sometimes it makes sense. Sometimes if you create an ultimate guide to virtual banking, all of those questions should be answered on that page, including giving the best options of that. But if your page is ranking for the best options for the top banks in virtual banking sector, and before giving the actual answer, you list all kinds of information that is probably not useful to the user, that impacts your on-page engagement because people understand that's not what they were looking for, go back to search results and go to find something better. If I'm not clear enough, I know why. Because there is no, just like with helpful content, you see it, you understand it's helpful when you see it. Same with over optimization. You recognize over optimization when you see it. It's very hard to put very well defined criteria here. But if you, as a writer or as a business owner or as an SEO, have been relying too much on keyword tools, if that's all you use for ideation or content brief creation or headings of that page or answering questions on your page, on your site, if that's all you use, if SEO data is everything, is all you use to drive your digital marketing strategy, you are probably over optimizing your site. Instead, yes, keyword optimization is very useful to show you searching trend, to help you understand how people may be researching your target keywords or problems they may be having. But it's just the ideation and direction tool. It's not all you need to be using. So when you are thinking about content or a page, you either need to talk to your customers and say what else you would like me to cover on that page, what else you're interested in. You need to be tracking their behavior on that page. You need to be just using the common sense. If I'm searching for this keyword, am I really interested in giving in a definition, for example, of that term? I probably know that already. Think about your users more. SEO data, SEO metrics, SEO keywords, SEO tools do not have to be the only tools that you're using. You should be talking to your customers and understand them. Be part of that community. Be part of subreddits, forums, listening to what they're saying. That's always useful to understanding, hey, this is the language I need to be speaking to them, and this is how I do that. It's not just about using keywords. It's also about addressing the actual customers and talking to them online, over the phone, email, and understanding what they need and how to better serve them. We can look at more examples and see if there was helpful content penalty. Sometimes it's over optimization and sometimes it's the problem. So let us know. Smarter.marketing, submit your site. We can look at it and see if there are problems like over optimization, content helpfulness, penalties, or anything that you need to address. We're here to help. Again, every case is different. It's very difficult to put one criteria to, hey, this is what helpful content is, or this is what over optimization is. It's not that easy. Every case is different, and we would love to look at your site if you need to, but also look at how I'm reviewing those sites over at ClearScope webinar. I think that was a very nice session, and we had a lot of things to share, to note, to understand about how we approach helpful content and address those issues as well. With that in mind, we have about 10 minutes to answer questions if you have any. I think April had a few great ones, but if you have any questions, please answer them through any of those social media networks you're listening us from, and we will try to answer if we have good answers.
So you mentioned the keywords Is there any other signs that like a website is overly optimized?
Usually those are keywords. Sometimes
Yeah.
people look at internal links. Unlike with keywords, Google has never confirmed that internal links could be the problem. Vice versa, they would always say there is no limit, there is no flag, there are no signals that would tell us, hey, there are too many internal links and they are too SEO optimized. I think that at this point, Google doesn't really know. And anytime you answer questions and they give you answers, you have to take it with some grain of salt, because there is a lot of machine learning and AI components to the algorithm when actual human beings cannot debug that. So I would not be surprised if their AI layer would think that too many internal links with too much anchor text might be a problem, and they would devalue a page based on that. But I believe that anything they do is really backed up by the user engagement data. So anytime they would not just devalue the page just because they think it's not helpful or they think it's not valuable. It's usually they are tracking that behavior of people and say, hey, number 2 attracts much more on page interactions than number 1. So we'll just replace number 1 with number 2, because obviously engagements on this page show us that that page is much more useful. So I would, instead of trying to look at the page and just try to understand, can it be really over optimized, I would do some user tracking, user experience tracking, and see what they're doing, or even ask your friends if you're a small business and cannot afford any user experience audits. Ask your friends to interact with your page and say, what's distracting you? How can I serve that query better? If you are searching for this query, would you be satisfied with my page? Even those little questions like that, and asking other people for the second opinion or third opinion, would be useful to make the page much more optimized for people. It's more about not over optimizing for search engines. It's more about not serving people enough, under optimizing for people. And that's usually what matters. You can have all your keywords on your page as you want. You can move things around and address more than people were asking when searching for that particular query. But unless you serve a person better, unless you serve the person the way they're satisfied with the answer and want to continue with the site, the page will be devalued in rankings.
Yeah, sometimes when you're like really invested in a project or a website, it's hard to see the forest through the trees. So definitely helps to get outsiders. In the ClearScope webinar, you mentioned like the heat. Is it called like a heat map kind of the thing where
Mm-hmm.
you can track how? Like, is there like a particular like software that you use for that you like the most?
They're very similar. They work very similar. I've tried a couple of them and they were very, very similar. So just search for heat maps. One quick idea here is that being a webmaster world tools, being webmaster tools offer a free heat map tool, so you don't have to pay for it. So I would suggest that you start there. I forgot the name of it, but search for something like Bing heat maps or Bing user tracking, and you will find it's a free tool. It records sessions and help you understand at which point people leave your page. It gives you a click recording so that you can see how exactly people click and interact with things on your page. It's helpful, it's free, and that's a good start to understanding how people use the pages that they found on your site. So I would start there and then just search for heat maps. Anything that inside like works for you within your budget will be very similar. Don't have anything fancy. It's it's not tracking every page of your site. You have to start a campaign. So sometimes you can do it for free before the trial expires. So you can try several tools and compare them. To me, they were very similar user experience. So I really don't have a clear recommendation here. Clicktail, there are quite a few of them, but start with Bing because it's absolutely free and it's quite easy to work with. So I would start there.
I just think that's so awesome how you can just watch how people are interacting with your site. I just think that's cool.
Yes, and it's also don't don't think about one session. Some people, there will always people who do not understand what your site says just because
Yeah.
I don't know how they ended up there. They may click the Twitter link and be there absolutely not knowing the topic and understanding it. So try to aggregate more opinions, more data before you drive any conclusions, but also talk to real people. I know there are quite a few user experience services that send people to your site. Internet Marketing Ninjas have great service that does that as well. I think that's the best on the market, where you would, and April and I were part of it at some point,
Yeah.
where we would go on that page and try to complete some problem, some steps, solve some problem on that side, and we would be talking on the video, saying, "Hi, what was preventing us? What was distracting us? Why we couldn't do the task?" And that's very enlightening for many business owners because they're so used to their website and they don't see those roadblocks. They don't understand why people do not convert as well, and that will help you not only to rank better, but also to increase your conversions, which is the bottom line of your site. So it's always useful. If you cannot afford it, again, ask social media followers, ask your friends, ask your relatives to do the same. Search for something, find your site, and try to see how satisfying that page is for that particular query. Always useful. I think every business should be doing it on a regular basis.
So sometimes I see like home pages of websites that have like a ton of keyword optimization, such as like repeating, like let's say they're like a therapist, like the best therapist in such and such location, best therapist in Miami, and then it says like best therapist in a bunch of cities at the bottom. Sometimes like I'll actually like leave if I see that. But so would it be better to split like those keywords into different pages of content rather than like stuffing it all on your homepage?
Definitely depends on how many locations you serve. If you serve 10 locations, I would say you have to have a separate landing page for every location that
Mhm.
would be serving that particular location, talking about people on that particular office, people how to get to that office, reviews just about that office. If you have one or two, home pages are tricky because they do rank best. They
Mhm.
accumulate all the link equity from all the internal pages, and they're the easiest to rank. So every time we talk about ranking of the homepage, it's usually very tricky part. We don't want to break what's not broken for sure. We don't want to fix what's not broken. So if the homepage is ranking for some queries, I would not touch it because
Yeah.
splitting it up could make things worse. If you are
Yeah.
struggling to get your page ranking for a particular query, that's when you need to think about creating a separate page. Today, it's also more difficult with home pages because sometimes they cannot serve the user intent for a particular query, and that's a good signal for you to create another page. So we had
Mhm.
that problem with one of the clients. So he was able to search for some medical service a query, but not that medical term. And then we started searching for it, and we realized people searching for that term, according to Google, are searching for the information about that. So the general 101 information, what it is, how it works, and the homepage was not able to be optimized. Like they need a really article with research, with history, with all definition, with FAQs, and that's what we did. So it's again case by case thing that we always research when we tackle a particular site, and there is no definitive. And I feel bad
Yeah.
that my answer is usually like it depends.
Yeah.
There is no one answer to everything, and but that's true. That's how SEO works, and that's how in our agency our big thing is that we don't have templates for SEO reports. We don't have templates for backlinks, like for how we get backlinks, because it's always different. All the backlinks that we generate are different because they are organic. All the templates, we don't have them, but all the SEO audits are different because I come into the site and I do them personally for our clients. I always start with my personal SEO roadmap because I don't know until I look at the site. I never know what to do
Yeah.
with it. Like there are no cookie cutter services that we sell to every client that come in. So we always say, hey, maybe you don't need new content. Maybe you need internal linking or refreshes of your old content before you think about everything else. Maybe you don't need backlinks. Maybe you need something else. So it's always different, and that's why every time I have to say it depends. I feel bad, like people are looking for answers, and in many ways I'm like Google who is always like, we don't know what's happening, it depends.
Yeah.
But that's how I know SEO, and I've been doing it for many years. And like
Yeah.
in many ways, in many cases, yes, 12-20 years ago there were quite very easy ways to rank, and they were very the same from site to site. You needed keywords on your page, and you needed backlinks that point to the homepage or that page if you can. That's it. That's all you needed. Now it's so balanced between different things, and you need to think about that, and you need to see if there is a problem there, or that problem is bigger than that one, which problem to prioritize. All the cases are very different, and that's when, in many ways, I would say you can look at this way, or maybe it's that way, but I will know only when I look at your website.
Yeah.
So usually that's how my answer is formula. That's why I say, let me know your site, and then maybe I will be more helpful. Send me your sites, I will look at them. I've been looking at hundreds of sites throughout the helpful content updates, still looking, still don't have answers. But at least I'm more informed than many because I see examples of that happening.
Yeah. I mean,
With that in
at the
mind,
end, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, at the end of the day, like all of your customers are human beings, so your SEO has to be personalized to them. And like the best
Exactly.
SEO is custom and takes time. So
Exactly. And I just had a call with the with the lead yesterday, and she's like, "What's your retainer?" And I'm like, "I don't know until I look at your site. Like I
yeah,
cannot put a price on my services unless I know what exactly you need. Maybe you don't need much, and then it would be like maintaining your content strategy, and that's it. Or maybe you have huge problems to help with. Maybe your competitors have many more backlinks and more stronger brands, and we need to work on those more than on your on-site content. So unless I look at your site, I don't even know the monthly price that is going to happen. And that's I don't know how to approach it differently, but that's how I roll. With that in mind, thank you so much. We're a little bit over time. Thank you for spending your lunch with us, wherever you are. Maybe that's lunch, maybe it's breakfast or dinner, depending on where you were watching us from. Please keep your comments coming on any social media network you're watching us from. I always check those after this live stream to see if there are any questions left unanswered. And subscribe to my newsletter and smarty.com, and come to not tomorrow but Wednesday of next week, 1 p.m. EST, to watch more of our live streams. Thank you so much,
thanks
and have
everyone.
a great day, everyone. Thank you,
Bye.
April. Bye.